What's up everyone, my name is Michael Warren and this is an overview about my BMW M2 Performance Edition. So this M2 right here is my very first car, which is extremely special to me. But what's even more special is that this car is one of only 75 in the world. Now, naturally, the next question that you might ask is, okay, what makes it 75? So BMW decided during 2017 that they were going to make a more driver-focused version of the M2 base that they had before they came out with their Comp and the CS later on. And that's what this is right here. It's the more driver-focused version of the M2. So it's more lightweight, there's a couple creature comforts that have been taken out of it, and it's an absolute blast to drive. So let's kind of go over, what makes it so special. So, starting on the outside of this car, every single one of the M2 Performance Editions was finished in Alpine White, which is the color that I most wanted when I was looking for a car. Now, on top of it being Alpine White, there are a couple little things that make this more special. So these little side markers right here came black from the factory on the M2 Performance Edition. Ordinarily, these are a little bit chrome. Same with the mirror caps right here. Mine are carbon fiber. They were done by the previous owner, and I'm very happy that that guy did it because that's one of the things that I would have done anyway. And then another thing that you can see, if you come around over here, there are no sensors at all whatsoever on this car. So no backup sensors, no sensors on the front, no camera. Everything is supposed to be more driver focused, and if you have all those different sensors, in theory, they add more weight, which makes your car a little bit slower on track. Additionally, there is no sunroof over here. The sunroof, in theory again, would add more weight to the car, and if you want a car that is more driver focused that you're going to be taking on the track, the idea is that you want to have it, kind of as stripped out as possible, and so having a sunroof would add more weight to it, so BMW just axed that when it came to the Performance Edition. Another thing that's different about the M2 Performance Edition, if you look up right here, that is the M suspension, and so that is a more driver-focused, track-focused suspension that BMW put on from the factory, which is really nice for me because I love taking this car to the track. I've already done about, I think, 3 different track days owning this car, and I've only put on 1,800 miles, so I have absolutely loved that suspension that BMW put on from the factory. Now that we're inside, I am capable of taking my glasses off because it is very bright. Anyway, let's move on to some stuff on the inside that's a little bit different with this M2 Performance Edition. Starting with the climate control right here. Typically on M2s, there'll be 2 different climate controls, one on the left for the driver's side, one on the right for the passenger. But again, because this one's supposed to be, more driver focused and everything like that, they wanted a more lightweight option. So they went with just a single climate control, which is pretty cool. It's adjustable in terms of where you want the air going right here, temperature right there. It's just a little bit more simplified, and I really like that. Another thing, if you look down right here, what is that? That's the M Performance exhaust that was put on from the factory. So I really love this exhaust. This exhaust has valves on it. So if you want to be a little bit louder, you can. If you want to be a little bit quieter, you can as well. I personally pretty much always have the exhaust on. The only time that I think I've ever really taken it off was when I was going in between Houston to Austin or Austin to Houston, because sometimes it gets to be a little bit loud and I just want to be able to listen to my music. Anyway, that exhaust system sounds amazing. I'll roll some clips right here. Normally, this car is limited in terms of top speed, but this one was upped in the limitation for the top speed to, I believe, 168, which is really cool. So I won't be coming close to hitting any sort of speed limit when I'm on COTA, which is really cool. And another thing that you'll find in the M2 Performance Edition that's a little bit different from the other M2s is the fact that there is no speaker right here. And why is that? Well, kind of going on theme with everything else that we've talked about in this video so far, the M2 Performance Edition has a more lightweight speaker system in it. It's like the hi-fi system, I believe, and there's no speakers on the little card right here, but there are speakers still within the car. The speakers are alright. They're not, the best in the world. Like, I recently drove my mom's S560, and her speakers are freaking insane in comparison to this car, but, they get the job done, and they're pretty loud. I have no complaints, really. And yeah, I think it's just kind of cool that the entire thing is more lightweight and a little bit more, driver focused. But yeah, it is absolutely awesome. Anyway, now let's go over some of the mods that have been done to this car, and there have been a lot, which is really, really cool. Since we're already in the inside, I'll go over the stuff that's on the interior. First and foremost, the guy that was owning the car before me put in Apple CarPlay. I am not gonna lie, Apple CarPlay is the best mod that has been done to this car. It is so awesome. I hop in the car, immediately my phone connects, my music goes immediately, I can have my Apple Maps going. It is perfect. I love Apple CarPlay, so I'm unbelievably happy that that guy put that in. The second thing the guy did, while also on the interior, is he put a shifter bushing on the inside of this transmission. Now, a long time ago, probably about a year or so, I drove a normal base M2 up in Massachusetts where I go to school, and it was a manual one. I knew that I needed a manual with whatever car that I was going to buy, and I drove the M2, and it sucked. The manual from the factory was really not good at all. I was not a fan. And so I was doing some research online because I was like, if this manual transmission sucks so bad, I don't know if I want to get this car, because that's a major, major, major thing for me. And I read online that there's a shifter bushing that you can do, and it'll make the shifter super, super notchy. And I was like, okay, that is my #1 mod that I'm going to do as soon as I get the car. And lo and behold, once I get the car, turns out it actually has the shifter bushing in there. And the notch, or the shifter feel is like a gun. It's like, it's so notchy. It reminds me of my dad's 997 GT3. It's not as notchy as the GT3, but it is still absolutely amazing. The next mods, if you want to even call them that I've done on the interior are these right here. Ooh, there we go. Are these right here. This is a magnetic phone mount for my phone, and the only reason why I have that is so that I can use the Draggy app, which is connected right here. This is a little magnetic strip that I put in. And basically the Draggy Lab app allows me to put my phone on that little magnet thing, and it'll record forwards and backwards and do all of the telemetry associated with doing laps on the track. I go to the track all the time. I've had this car for about a month, and I've already taken it to the track 3 different times, twice at MSR, once at Circuit of the Americas. More track content will be coming soon. But I really wanted to find a way to where I could see how I was doing on track, be able to compare between different laps and things like that. And so I kind of wanted to put a different phone mount on there so I could see myself and also the lines that I'm taking, more so than just putting a camera one place on the car. And so that is the interior upgrades, that, if you want to call them that I have done so far. Another upgrade that wasn't done by me, it was done by the previous owner, that's technically, I guess, in the interior, is in my driver footwell. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here, if you look up, it's kind of falling down a little bit, it does that sometimes, is a Dynan throttle control. And to be honest, when I first bought this car, I had no idea what that was. But come to find out, you can tune the sensitivity of your throttle with that on the fly. So there is a Dynan app that you can go into, and you can choose between a bunch of different settings. You can make your own setting if you'd like, and basically it'll just tune how sensitive your throttle is. And so when you're going on the track, or if you want to go on the back roads, or if you're just trying to drive comfortably on a cruise, you can choose between all these different settings to adapt to the way that you want to drive, which is really cool. I don't know if I would have personally bought that upgrade, but the guy before me definitely wanted it, so it's kind of cool that we have it. The next round of upgrades come under the hood, so I will open that up for you and show everything that we have in there. If we open up the hood, whew, it's a little bit warm. The first thing that you'll see right there is another Dynan logo. And this is not the only other thing that the guy put in that is also Dynan related. So we have a Dynan cold air intake, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, we have a Dynan we have a Dynan intercooler right there as well, which I think is really awesome. I live in Texas. I will always pretty much live in Texas, and I will be going to the track in Texas. And if you know anything about Texas, it's hot as hell. So being able to have those upgrades to make sure that we're, running cool is a very, very big plus for me. I found out about that and I was like, this car just got way, way better. Another thing that the previous owner did, if you look right here, is he added a little brace that goes around over here. Now, I have a couple of buddies of mine that are BMW techs, and they told me it's like, yeah, it's nice to have the brace, but apparently it doesn't do too much because there's already a brace that's built into the car. So I'm not complaining too much about having, I guess, in theory, more stiffness with it. Let's close this right here, and we'll move on to the next stuff that's done to this car. Now, on top of having the M Performance and suspension that we talked about earlier, another thing that I don't know if you'll be able to see, we have adjustable end links, which are really cool, and we have front and rear sway bars on this car as well, which I think is awesome. I took this, like I said, on the track 3 different times already, and I have absolutely loved every single second of it. The only thing that I kept saying every single time when I went on the track that this car needs is a set of brakes to make it like stop on a dime, and some really good tires, which coincidentally I picked up some tires today for this car. I had a little bit of a tire blowout, whole long story. Regardless, I ended up getting some Cup 2s, so I cannot wait till I can bring this on the track again at COTA and just have a blast. One of the other things that I forgot to go over while I was talking about everything that I've done to this car are a couple of different modifications that I've done. So what does that look like? Well, as I mentioned before, I really enjoy going to the track, and one of the things that I absolutely hated about this car is that it comes with auto rev match that you can only take off if you take full traction control off. So my friends and I used Beamer code and we coded that out. We also coded the front angel lights to go at 100% the entire time so it looks cooler during the day. We also made it to where the car will beep when you lock and unlock the car, and it'll also fold in the mirrors when you lock the car as well. Another thing that was done to this car, you will see, is there's a bunch of carbon fiber options that the guy put on the car himself, which I'm very, very happy about. We have a front splitter, which is taking a little bit of a beating, but you know, that's okay. The front splitter eventually will always get beat up in pretty much any car. So that's carbon fiber. We have carbon fiber little, I don't even know what you'd want to call these, like little spats maybe. That's pretty cool. And then back here, we have a carbon fiber diffuser as well as a little carbon fiber spoiler right there, which is what I was going to do regardless. So it's really cool that the guy before me did some very, very tasteful upgrades, and it's not over the top. My friends and I kind of call it like OEM plus in terms of the upgrades that have been done to it. This car is awesome. It's perfect. I don't really know what else I would do other than maybe a downpipe. I don't know if I even want a downpipe. I'll get a charge pipe at some point because those have been known to fail, but this car, other than that, is pretty much pristine for me, and I've loved every single second of it. It only came with about 20,000 miles. I've pretty much put 2,000 miles already on it in just about a month. So I've been driving it a bunch. I've been having a ton of fun. And yeah, that's what makes this M2 Performance Edition one of only 75. And this is my example of it. I can't wait to show you guys more content of it in the future. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.